Hello everybody, welcome back to another Weather Central forecast. You guys are on a fantastic day. In today's forecast, we'll be going over the current severe weather threat right now, as well as we'll briefly, towards the end of this video, be going over our severe weather outbreak for the beginning of this week, as it does look to be severely impactful. We do have our tornado probabilities for that system, as well as hail and wind. So it's something that you guys are going to want to stay tuned for sure. But before we do start off with this forecast, I would like to start off with a disclaimer that these forecasts are my opinion. They're based off of model guidance and past occurrences of weather. For the most accurate and up-to-date weather, please consult your local National Weather Service office, as I will have more accurate and up-to-date information than I will on these major United States weather events. Let's go ahead and go over to my outlook for these systems. So here is my outlooks for these systems. You can see very warm air off to portions of the west here, and what we're going to see here is, let me go ahead and make my marker size just a little bit bigger. We're going to see a general thunderstorm risk throughout these red regions here. Now, I'm not limiting out severe potential, especially towards areas around the Midwest, even down to portions of Oklahoma too, as you could be seeing some isolated cells that could possibly become supercellular and or just pose a wind and hail threat due to those very steep lower level lapse rates, especially around here where you do have those lapse rates at a very high amount. Now, what we're seeing here though in this maroon is what I'm thinking could be a severe risk, light possibilities of tornadoes, a lot of wind and hail damage with this event. And then once we get into this purple here, so I'm expecting your biggest tornado threat to be affected for right now, as well as your biggest threat for significant hail and significant wind. So let's go ahead and go over to our storm prediction center outlooks for this system. So here's today. We're looking at the day one categorical outlook. You can see we do have an enhanced risk. That is a wind-driven enhanced risk up into portions of northern Kansas there. You can see we have a wide slight risk down here to the south and a slight risk surrounding that enhanced risk that will impose a tornado threat, as you guys will see in this next slide here. This is our tornado outlook. Now you can see almost mimicking that slight risk there is where we do have that 2% tornado risk. We do have a 5% though within that slight risk down to portions of the deep south, and then we also do have a 2% surrounding that 5% that is available down in the deep south. Moving on to our wind outlook for day one. Now, like I said, this is a wind-driven enhanced risk up to portions of Kansas, where we do have a 30% hatched significant risk for wind damage. We have a 15 surrounding that, and that does get into portions of Colorado as well. And then we do have a lot of coverage here for our 15% down into portions of the deep south here. Now moving on to our next one here. This is the day two categorical outlook. You can see a lot has changed here in terms of the coverage of the slight risk and kind of the tilt of the slight risk. Yesterday it was something like this. Now it's been tilted quite a bit due to the capping inversions, I would say, and a lot more shear being available off to the east. And it's been tilted somewhat like this. Now we can see we still have slight risks for most of those areas that we did see yesterday, but a noticeable difference is portions of Illinois and Indiana getting into that slight risk that was not being shown yesterday. Going into our tornado outlook for day two, we can see we do have a 5% chance outlining the Ozarks up through portions of the Tennessee and Ohio Valley there. I do expect this to change within the next couple of days, within the next couple of updates. So there's an 8 o'clock update, a midnight update, and then a 12 o'clock noon update. So there will be a lot of updates before this system does occur. So I will be making a forecast on this hopefully before this system does make very much impacts throughout these regions. However, I cannot guarantee that because this next week I also do have testing again, because it's going to be a long testing month for me. As that's usually how my school is towards the end of the year. We have a lot of testing. But surrounding that 5%, though, we do have a 2%. This is a very wide 2%. Now, if I had to personally guess, I'd say we'd see a larger 5% tornado risk somewhere around here. And then I would expect a 10% to be issued somewhere around here where my my purple was for my forecast. Now, that's just my opinion. I'm in no ways a meteorologist. So take what I say with a grain of salt. However, that's kind of what I'm thinking of right now. Going into our day two hail outlook, you can see we have a 15% hatched risk here for portions of the Ozarks lining up through portions of the Tennessee and Ohio Valley, basically outlining that 5% tornado risk. And that is for hail 2 inches in diameter or greater within a 25-mile radius of a given point within that area there. And then outside of that, we do have a 15% just normal risk for hail damage. And then we have a wide 5 that outlines that 2% tornado risk. That is for portions of Texas all the way up through the mid-Atlantic in the deep south, into portions of the Ohio Valley. Going in our day 2 wind outlook here, you can see we have a 15% hatched wind risk here, and that is for portions on the eastern edge of that 5% tornado risk there, and that is for portions of the boot heel of Missouri into portions of western Kentucky, southern Illinois, and southwestern Indiana. And we also do have a 15% wind risk outlining that slight risk, and then we have a wide 5% risk of wind damage in that sort of marginal risk that we did see earlier. Going into our day 3 categorical outlook here, this is something that we're going to want to keep an eye out on, as this is still quite a bit away. Like I said, it is day 3. We do have a generalized thunderstorm risk up to portions of the west here, into portions of Montana, Wyoming, into the Dakotas and Nebraska. We also do have a general thunderstorm risk lining up for portions of the central northeast there, all the way back down through the mid-Atlantic, through portions of southern Florida there. But however, our main concern is going to be within this green region inside of that, where we could be seeing a marginal, and we also do have a slight risk issued by now for portions of the exact same areas getting affected by today. So this is going to be something that we're going to want to keep an eye out on over the next couple of days. Going into our National Weather Service watches, warnings, and advisory displays, we can see we have some severe thunderstorm warnings and even a tornado warning right now into portions of Colorado, as well as we do have a wide tornado watch here down for the deep south, as well as we do have 3 tornado warnings issued right now, 2 into portions of Mississippi and 1 in Alabama right now. So if you guys are within those areas, take cover right now. And I know a YouTuber named Nate Snyder is actually live streaming this event right now, so go check out his YouTube channel and his live stream to stay up to date with the latest weather, as I will not be doing a live stream on this. We also do have some severe thunderstorm warnings off into portions with that marginal risk for today. We do have a lot of red flag warnings, very hazardous fire conditions over here into portions of the 4 corner states, as well as we do have a wide severe thunderstorm watch. We also do have some red flag warnings off to portions of California, as well as some high wind advisories scattered throughout California up into portions of Montana. Like I said, if you guys are within these tornado warnings or know anybody within them, make sure that they're weather aware right now, as this is a very hazardous situation right now. I know that there is confirmed tornadoes on the ground, especially down in Mississippi and Alabama. Not really sure about this Colorado one, but for sure, I know that all of these tornado warnings are very hazardous right now. So if you guys know anybody, share this video with them so that they can get a weather aware from the system. So now we're going into our models here. Now we can see this is right now, and I don't really think that the NAM 3K is picking up it too well, as we do have a tornado warning over here and some over here, as you guys saw in that National Weather Service watches, warnings, and advisory displays. What this is depicting, though, is a very strong to maybe severe thunderstorms into portions of Arkansas right now. Now, as we move this on, you can see those try to press off north and east, and eventually maybe spark some rain showers and or thunderstorms for portions of Illinois. There you can see, though, we have some possible supercells within the southern edge of this sort of wave of thunderstorms, and we do have a very generalized isolated supercell chance for portions of eastern Colorado. They're moving this on just a little bit more. You can see we do have some sort of isolated cells on the southern end here, and that's going to impose a tornado threat, as we did see that 5% for today. You can see portions of northern Mississippi into central Mississippi seeing some possible isolated supercells embedded throughout those single cellular storms there. Moving this on even more, you can see we get some very strong storms off to the extreme panhandle of Florida, off into portions of Tennessee, all the way back down through portions of southern Arkansas there. We can see we're starting to get some very strong thunderstorms line up into portions of Kansas there, where we do have that 2% tornado risk issued. This is about midnight on Monday. So quite a bit out from now, maybe a couple of hours. However, this would be hour 8 on this frame that we're looking at right now. And you can see we're starting to get sort of a Boeing segment trying to form here. And what that's going to be doing is that, you know, that 30% hatched significant wind risk that we saw today, that is due to those Boeing segments and those storms really trying to bow out there. That's going to cause a hazard for straight line wind damage. You can see that's associated with our low here. We can still see we do have quite a bit of clusters of thunderstorms lining all the way back down through the panhandle of Florida still. Moving this on even more, you can see that's really starting to bow out these systems. And I'm just drawing a broad view here, but especially if we would zoom in on these systems, we'd see some bowing echoes there. You can still see some possible strong to maybe light thunderstorms. I expect our stronger thunderstorms to be within the southern region here, into portions of Mississippi, back down through the Florida Panhandle there. We're still seeing on this, we can see a very noticeable bowing echo here, and this is a general wide cluster of thunderstorms here. So just imagine what those bowing echoes look like within those single-celled systems around here. But what we are seeing is still some possible supercells throughout portions of Mississippi into Alabama, still back down to the extreme Florida Panhandle. Now what we're seeing here is this is our jet stream right now, right? Actually, this is quite simulated out towards the little bit past this event. Now we can see here's a deep troughing down here, and that's pushing off where we do have this ridge, and that ridge, like I showed last video, is going to wind out fairly quickly. And this trough is going to be associated with that low air pressure system, and it's going to change this all over to thunderstorms and severe weather. You can see we have very strong wind shear right now in the upper levels into portions of Illinois. So as long as you guys do have that surface shear around here, you guys should not have any problems of getting that 5% tornado risk, in my opinion, due to that very high wind shear up into the upper levels. All you guys need, like I said, is that helicity, storm allowed helicity, surface shear in that cape without those capping inversions, and you guys could see some very nice soundings. Moving on to our precipitable water values here, you can see it's not going to be a very moisture-rich event for portions over here into portions of the Ozarks extending northward and southward. We're going to have a lot more moisture-rich here atmosphere in throughout portions of where we are seeing those tornado warnings right now, Mississippi and Alabama there. So that's probably more why we're not seeing that moisture really concentrated over here, as it's not where the risk really lies right now. Moving this on to hour 24 here, you can see it's going to be very moisture starved on this beginning of that slight risk here. So that's still kind of imposing a question here whether to how much clusters of thunderstorms and or supercells could be possible throughout this area due to that really low moisture content. But we can see we do have a lot of precipitable water values lining up throughout portions of the southeast here into portions of the mid-Atlantic. So getting some thunderstorms to fire up here I don't think is too big of a problem. Going into temperatures for our systems here, we can see this is when that system really starts to pick up here for portions of our slight risk on day 2. You can see we have 70s around these areas and lower 60s into portions of Illinois there. We just move this on one more time. You can see our systems will originate over here and press off northeast. So this is probably around the time when actually the Ohio Valley is getting affected with this. And you can see mild upper 60s to maybe lower 70s is possible with some very strong convective available potential energy down to Texas, with those hail threats are imposed due to those lower level lapse rates and just your lapse rates in general, due to the fact that you guys do have such high cooling within the atmosphere. We do see 90s off to portions of the Atlantic coast here, and up to portions of Virginia Beach I did see could possibly be getting up to 90 degrees. Actually, I believe it was more like 85, but even towards the end of this event, we can still see wide region of high 70s plus throughout portions of Virginia Beach, extending down to portions of Cocoa Beach, Florida there, around Palm Beach. So temperatures for this event is not really going to be a problem. It's just whether you guys do see that precipitation line up at the beginning here, and just where that wind shear and cape and those capping inversions. Obviously, we don't want those capping inversions. So wherever those capping inversions stay free of, and how early those capping inversions break, and then where we could see our highest shear and convective available potential energy. Right now, I do see, though, the biggest threat in that purple region that I showed you guys earlier in my forecast, which is somewhere around here. But obviously, if you guys are within those regions that I showed today from the Storm Prediction Center outlook, stay weather aware over the next couple of days. You guys could be seeing some possible bad severe weather. So if you guys did enjoy this Weather Central forecast, and I'll see you guys in the next one.